Hello guys, and welcome back to Stylish Niger YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut a very covered corset. So I'm going to make it so detailed for beginners. So here is my pattern paper. I'm trying to label it. The first line, we have our shoulder line, our bust point, our under bust, and then our waistline. So the next thing we're going to do, first we're drafting out the back. Just draft out your basic body. So I just wanted to go through it again. So what I'm trying to do there is measure my shoulder measurement, and then I came down by 1 inch. So I'm going to just slope that into the neckline point like that. And then from that point I'm going to mark my armhole measurement. So for the armhole, I'm using about 8 inches. Okay, so that 8 inches, I'll just mark it like this, and then I will connect it with my straight ruler upward. And then so this line is going to serve as my chest line. So the next thing, I'm just creating a curve on it. Okay, so I'm trying to check the middle, so I'll know how to form the curve nicely. Okay, so like I said, what I'm doing is just a basic bodies. That's what I'm doing. So the next thing, now we're going to be adding our body measurement. So here I'm adding the bust measurement, divide by 4, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, so what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to check that line on that chest line. So I brought it to the under bust line, that is, sorry, to the bust line. So I connected it to the bust line because it's the same measurement. So these are the measurement that I'm going to be using. My bust is 36, my under bust is 30, and then my waist is 35. Okay, so the next thing, now I'm adding my under bust measurement, that 30 divided by 4, and then I added 1 inch for that, and then I am marking it that way. The next thing, measurement I'm marking, which is the last one, you can see how easy is the waist. So you divide your waist measurement into 4, and then just add your allowance like this. So we have not really started, as in what we are just doing now is just doing a basic bodice for the back piece. Okay, so I'm just trying to mark it properly. So I'm adding extra inches to the down part for like stitching allowance. So the next thing, now I'm trying to take out my dart. So for the dart, I use my bust palm measurements, which is 9 divided by 2, so I have 4.5. So I just mark it across those lines, and then rule with a straight ruler, and then I'm taking out 1 inch dart. So you can see I just came in by half of an inch, and then just connect it to that top of that chest line, and then connect it to the hip line, that to the waistline, sorry. So you can see. So the next thing, now I want to create boning chambers for my corset. So what I did, I came to the side of the waist, so I just checked how many I have there, and then divided it into 2. So this, basically what I'm trying to do is just for me to get a line, you understand. So I just checked. So from this part, I want to tighten my waist a little bit, so I want to take out 1 inch from that part. So you can see, like, what I'm trying to do now, I'm basically adding another dart, you understand. So that is helping me to tighten the waist, to do an over, to do a waist tightening, you understand. So that's what I'm doing. So the next thing, now I'll mark the neckline. So it depends on how many inches you want to use to tighten your waist. So whatever inches, so you can just do that on that, along that line. Okay, so the next thing, now for this, I'm just trying to create out a yoke, even though I'm not going to be needing the yoke. So I'm just trying to check, just coming by 1 inch. So for this, just curve it however, you understand. So if you want to do a fancy yoke, so that's what I'm trying to do. I just use dotted lines, and then the next thing, I've just connected it to that dart point. So for the neckline, I just came down by 1 inch. Just, you can use the same straight neckline. So the front part, we're going to be more detailed. So this one is just basically a basic body, so that is why you see I'm not putting too much emphasis on it. Okay, so now for this part, I'm going to take out 1.5 inches for it because I'm adding eyelets. So I'll just cut that off, even though I did not add a zip allowance, so I still took out half of an inch. So at the end, I'm just trying to mark where the eyelets they will be, just like a guide. Okay, So that's it for that. So this is how simple the back is. So now we're going to come to the front. So for this front, like I said, I'm going to slow the video down now. So first of all, let's just mark our basic bodies. That is our shoulder measurement, divide by 4, sorry, divide by 2. So I'm trying to place all of the measurements. So once we start the actual drafting, I'm going to reduce the speed of the video. So this one now is still the same process of marking our armhole and then just placing it. Okay, so after that, the next thing now, I'm going to be taking my bust pan. So you can see that the video is slowed now. So my bust pan, I'm dividing bust pan into 2. Like I said, 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. So that's my chest line. So I'm now connecting it now. Okay, so I'll connect it all, or just rule it on all of my lines like that. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it is straight. So I was checking it on that hip line also. So I'll connect it this way. So the next thing now we are going to do now, let's take out our dart. So for the dart, we are taking out 2 inches for our dart. So I came to the waistline, I mark 1 inch to the side, and then for the down part I took half inch. So you will just take a look and see how the line will go. So I'll connect that line. So from the down, from the hip line, I use half inch, and then from the waist line, that's from the under bust line, I use 1 inch. So you can see the shape that it is giving. Okay, so the next thing now, I'm going to use my curve. I'll connect it to that bust point line like that. So I'll connect it to that point and then connect it to that point. So the next thing now, I'm going to, from that point, I'm going to extend that line to the chest line, to that chest line. So sorry guys, I forgot to label my lines. So the second line, that's the bust line, the third one is the under bust, and then the fourth one is the waist line. Okay, so the next thing now, I'm doing a tightening on top of that point. So I'll just use 0.75. So I mark that 0.75 on the tutu side, and then I am connecting it. You can see I'm just extending the curve. So that's basically what I'm doing. So I'm just extending the curve. So the next thing, after extending that curve, the next thing I am going to do now, I want to check. Okay, so I'm just trying to check to double check my measurement. So from that waistline, that's the same waistline of the back, I came down by 2 inches. So just add waist, you understand. So the essence of doing that is so that I'll be able to curve my dress properly. So from that point, I'm just trying to check. Okay, yes. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to add a bust dart. So that bust dart, what I did, I used 2 inches and then connected it to my bust point line. So from that other line, so from that other line, that's that top, that what do you call it, that over bust. So I'm just trying to extend this because I want my corset to be covered. So I'm still extending it. So you can still extend it as much as 1 inch. That's this 1 inch now is above the chest line. So now the corset will be very covered because it is above. So you can see I extended it. So after extending it, the next thing, I want to blend it into my that chest area. So if you don't want your corset to be covered, you can decide to just leave it that way, just create the curve. So after blending it into that part, so for that part, you can decide to come down however you want. So the next thing is just take your curve, connect that line. So what I'm trying to do now is those dart legs. So I'm just trying to highlight them. You understand? So I'm trying to highlight those dart legs. So the next thing now, if you see that bust dart, you can see it there. I just left it. So the next thing now, what I want to do now, I want to mark 4 inches. So that 4 inches that I'm marking there is the difference between my arm, my under bust. So I came in by 4 inches. So just connect it. So once you mark the 4 inches to the side, just make a curve up like that. So after marking it up, so the other part also I'm blending it in. So for this you can see the way I'm blending it. So I want to create in like a new armhole down there. So for it, because I want it, as you can see, so since it's going to be like a tube, so I needed to create that so that it to come down properly. So I just like extended my armhole measurement downwards. Okay, so that's what I did. So the next thing now that I'm going to do now, I'm trying to check all of my points. So now take our full body measurement, divide your bust measurement into four, mark it there, and then add that your dart allowance, mark it, then I'll connect it like this. The next thing now, I am going to, so before I continue, so I'm just trying to check, that's my under bust measurement, I'll connect it. And then the next thing now, that's my waist measurement divided by 4, I'll connect it like that. And then the other measurement is my, so you can see I just connect all of them like that. So after that I'm going to cut out. So after cutting that out, now I'm just trying to add a neckline, which I don't need it though, so I'm using 3 by 3. So that bust that you can see, I've opened it up, so I'll close that back. After opening it, I'll close it back before I cut, you understand. So I'll just like tape it down. So like I said, this is not really too necessary, so I'm just trying to blend the other part. So next thing, I'm just trying to extend my dart lines down. So I want to create a basque waistline. So for that basque, I just came down by like 7 inches. That's what I use. So the next thing, I'll just cut this out like this. So cut out the yoke. So like I said, I really don't, you can see how high the corset is. So that's just like the essence of that. So the next thing now, do you remember that this thing that I did? I'm trying to create another that leg there. That's where I'm going to put my bone in. So this part, if you want to tighten it at this point, just like I taught you, so you can see I'm taking like half of an inch on that waist side. When you want to snatch the waist, that's when you will do this, you understand. But if you are not snatching your waist, you don't need to do this. So this one now, I'm taking out extra inches out. So that's what I basically did there. So these are my marks. So I'm just trying to label my corsets, my cups. So I'll just mark them round like this, and then I'll cut them out. Okay. So after that, I'll just label everything, and then I'll cut them like this. So after cutting, so this is what you will have. So I have my cups there, and then I just took out the yoke. So this is the back piece, and then this is the front piece. Thank you guys for watching.